Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up. But first, as always, let's take a look at our weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. We're in for a really nice week of weather. Some cool temperatures. High today is going to be 80, low 64 here on the coast. And we're getting into the 50s in a day or two. So these mornings are really nice and cool. I know you enjoy just stepping outside and just feeling the cool air. Our water temperature brought to us by Maranta Coffee Company. Miss Ariel Payne and her crew. And they're something else now. I'm going to get to fish with some of them on Friday, so we're looking forward to it. So anyway, we're getting to the water temperature dropped a degree. It's down to 79 now, officially below 80. I don't think it's going to get back up to 80. I believe it's going to drop on down now. Our river reading is brought to us by the good folks at Panama City Coca-Cola. The Apalachicola Bluntstown, 1.5. The Choctaw at Carabille, 1.5. Identical readings, and both of them still extremely low, but it's just a situation where we just haven't had much rain, so we have to, just deal with it as far as what nature gives us. We can't really change it. We have to just deal with it. So that's why I tell the folks, just deal with it. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Decent tides today. Really good tides this weekend, as I mentioned yesterday. A low tide this morning is 6:41, and a high tide is 9:23. That's brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Our wind direction now is coming out of northeast at about 10 to 15, bringing some of that cool air with it. So I imagine in the morning when you wake up and walk outside, it's going to be really nice and good feeling, and the next couple of days is going to be like that. And let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Often on the show, I'll mention our heritage and so many things we've done in outdoors here in Florida Panhandle. And one of my favorites to talk about, of course, is boat building. I don't really talk a lot in depth about it, but just building boats, the way back to the early days with the down Apalachicola Bay, building on oyster skiffs, and I have such fond memories of being a little kid and going with my dad to see my granddaddy, and he would be working on a boat. He'd be building a boat. He's a farmer, but back then they built their own boats, and he would take it to Ocklawaha in the back of the truck, no trailer, put it in the back of the truck and take it. And so many people along the Apalachicola River, the Ocklawaha River, just built their own boats, and out of cypress or juniper were the two woods. And I've always just been, as a kid, fascinated with boat building, and we all go through the stages where let's go build a boat or whatever. And even, not just that, but also the paddles. I'm going to show you a picture here. In my living room, this is a boat paddle that my granddaddy made. It hangs in my living room. I got a little plaque on it. You can't read it, of course, but that's just special. That's the only really thing I had that I've got some of his stuff, but that's because he liked to work with wood. But everybody made their own paddles back then. That's part of our heritage here in the Florida Panhandle, and really throughout the South, even Louisiana. I know up in Georgia they did some of it. And this paddle here, I have it on display. This is a Cartercraft. This is a interesting paddle. When I do in the book, these Cartercraft were built here, of course, but this would be the salesman display. And he would take it to the stores that sold Cartercraft, and they would hang it up in the showroom, Cartercraft. And in fact, on my book, I did a story on Cartercraft. That's the Cartercraft right here, okay? And that was built here, a Cartercraft. And so boat building has always been so special. And in fact, talking about the book, right here in the center of the book, that was built right over there by Tyndall Bridge, that boat right there. So boat building is such a strong part of our heritage, freshwater and saltwater. So when I saw this last night, it put a smile on my face. This goes back to a couple of my students. Let me see if I can pull it up right here. Now, Harris Marshall, okay, and this is Harris Marshall and Greg Gladden. Harris is one that did this duck behind me, and Greg has been on the show before, okay, a fishing guide. See this boat right here, okay? Now, that's a good boat, right? So I'm going to tell you what the boys, they're just consummate outdoorsmen. They wanted to make a duck boat, okay? So I'm going to walk you through this. Look here, they cleared it out. All right, here we go. They built the floor in it. Okay, that's marine plywood. Okay, this is amazing. I had no idea they were doing this. There's Greg right there. They're thinking about it. I got tickled looking at it. He's trying to, this is a console. And they're going to fiberglass it, but trying to figure out where to put all. I know what I'm trying to do now. Do I put the steering wheel here? I put the throttle. You know, he's just thinking about how to design your own console. All right, so they got it laid out. They're fiberglassing it. Okay, they got everything and trimming it. That's Harris there, I believe. I don't know whose garage they're in. Probably up there at Marshall's place. All right, so now look at here. They've got it. Got it going along. They got it back in the yard now, and got the floor in it, and the console. I was just smiling watching this whole thing. And look, they're starting to paint it. I'm gonna blow up. Look at the camouflage. Does that not look like Apalachicola Bay? Okay, I don't know where they're gonna duck hunt, but they're putting a duck hunt boat together. And then they got the console put in. Look at the flooring. I mean, you've seen this flooring. You get it up with Tractor Supply. They also have it at any places. But look at the console. He figured out where to cut the holes out and where to put everything in it. This is customized. These two boys, they're probably in the late 20s now, I guess, maybe. Now they have everything hooked up. Is that okay? This is not a professional. It's just two boys working and just getting things done. Okay, don't that look cool? Check it out. Now they got the motor on it. That's a whole skill right there. Is that not an amazing transformation as far as taking a boat from beginning to end? And then right here, the last picture, look at these are little clips here. I know they're going to put stuff over this clips to hold the camouflage cover on it all. So anyway, it's just really special to me to see them doing that. I want to get them to come on the show and talk about it. But I thought I was so, they're just good outdoorsmen and they just love the outdoors and they fish a lot. And now they also, they've been duck hunting for a long time, but I think they're going to offer a guide service, I think, or maybe they're just going to hunt some themselves. So that's really cool. I have an appreciation of them just taking the initiative to take a boat like that and then remodel it to something like that. So, all right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. That's just again. We'll get the boys to come on the show and talk about that. I just love that kind of stuff. I'll talk later on about it. I built me a canoe, and it's just and also worked on some other things too. And I'll tell you those stories later. But we need to get on into some other stuff going on. We've talked about all the erosion. I talk about it all the time at Cape Sandblast, and I've been going there 50-some years, and it's been amazing to watch the erosion. Well, finally, they're going to try to do something about it, which is they put the rocks up years ago. But check this out here. This is actually this is a breakwater. They're going to put these rocks out in the water. Okay, so this is from the Port St. Joe Star newspaper, and I appreciate the newspaper still being in existence. So thank you, Port St. Joe Star. Okay, this is the stump hole is down at the bottom. Okay, that's the stump hole as far as the rocks and all. So these are lots. So what they're going to do, they're going to actually put the rocks out into the water to break it off right there. And here's the project. Look, here's a better picture right here because you can see the rocks right there. See the curve right at the bottom. Anyway, so that's it's going to be interesting to watch how that develops and if it does stop the erosion because there are a lot of houses like we've seen the pictures of them falling in. So that's going to be started. That work's going to start December the 1st, which is about a little bit over a month away. That's interesting. Speaking of the Cape, this is 11.5-foot hammerhead. This caught the other night. There's 3 boys out there fishing in Andy Bolger at Cape Sandblast. Here's a picture of it right here. That is a big shark, 11.5 foot. In fact, I took these pictures. I sent it to my grandson Mason out there at Ole Miss because those boys, he and his buddies were swimming out all over the place. I want to make sure they know there's sharks out there. And here it is. They're getting ready. They measured it and getting ready. Letting it go now. They're taking the head and sort of making sure to get some oxygen and all. So good job, guys. Coming up, the Cove Boys Invitational. This will be their 25th annual. It's sort of a semi-private event, but it's still. I'm glad to see them getting out there fishing and doing things like that. Cove Boys. Okay. sometimes you think you look out there and think that's a big old buck out there. You just see some limbs and it's a cow or something. But anyway, I thought that's funny. First picture of the year from our good friend Tess Randall Jolly, and we're going to see, Gail and I are going to get to see them pretty soon. There's the first buck's pictures taken of. Again, I just marvel at her, at the clarity and all. You see it now on TV and all, but this is professional photography. She's made a living off that as a hobby, doing something she loves to do. And, all right, here's a better. I blew it up on this other picture right here. See, anyway, see, got the right leg up. How cool. Listen, this is interesting. Where have all the mallards gone? Okay, remember that old song? Where have all the flowers gone? So this is from Mississippi State. Let me say something about Mississippi State. Of course, you know I'm a Gator and all that kind of stuff, but I love these universities. I tell you, the 4 universities that really do outdoor things is Florida, Georgia, Auburn, and Mississippi State. They do a lot of outdoor things in forestry and all that. But over the last few years, I've really been impressed with Mississippi State, and they've doing all kind of stuff and all kinds of studies, and so is Southern Miss. And what is going on? People, mallard. I mean, that is the duck. Everybody talks about killing, shooting mallards. Well, especially in the Mississippi Flyway, where they found out. So I started looking at this. So I found this out. So anyway, here's the study right here. This is from their Extension Service. That centers right there in the middle. Mallards are down continent-wide. The 2025 breeding estimate is about 6.6 million, roughly 17% below the long-term average. And the biggest drivers are the prairie breeding grounds, extended dry periods, fewer wetlands, and loss of nearby grassland cover for nesting and broods. And folks, what that tells us, their development is taking away their wetlands too. Now, isn't that amazing? They've been able to study it. They just have a smaller and smaller area. I talk about it happening right here, but it's happening across America. These prairies and these wetlands and all, they're actually and a combination of dry lands too. Okay, here it is, the next page right here. I finished reading it. Basically, they did aerial surveys in Mississippi and Arkansas. It's been a long-term decline. And there's a clear drop in Arkansas and a smaller one in Mississippi. So, okay, so just it's just something that we have to be aware of. Okay, look, this is Saturday night. I'm on a video. I went over to Bristol and spoke at this wild game dinner fundraiser, and they had an auction. But I just want to bring this up. I didn't get to bring it up ahead of time. Matt Carpenter donated a beautiful deerhound. Okay, read this right here. Thank you, Matt Carpenter, for donating this beautiful deerhound for the live auction at our wild game dinner. We greatly appreciate your support of the Liberty County 4-H youth. And folks, I had a marvelous time. But all these fundraisers, especially outdoor fundraisers, have all kind of things. I go to a bunch of them, from Ducks Unlimited and all kind of stuff. I have never seen a dog auction off. And this was just, I just sat there and marveled. I mean, I'm looking at people out here that I love. I have my family, Wynn and Walter and Astrid there and Gail there, and I'm around a lot of folks. I know their families and all. I said, these are real people. And they auctioned off this deerhound, and Matt Carpenter, and he's had some great hunt dogs. Matt deer hunted his whole life, and just auctioned off with it. And then the bidding went really high. So anyway, Gail's putting together a video. I took some video, or Walter and Gail took some video Saturday night, and I enjoyed talking to that group and saw quite a few people watch the show, and it was just a marvelous time. And I just, anyway, I was just really impressed by that. And how outdoorsmen are. We'll do anything to try to help other kids and other young people doing stuff. So, all right, let's move on with the pictures. I ran across this. I ordered lunch and accidentally ordered some crankbaits. It was an honest mistake. Okay, I like that. Doing a flashback, because I know some of y'all have some of these trucks right here. And here are the prices of a 1965 Chevrolet. I need to show this to Chris Kramer and see if we can get the throwback prices. $1,700. Can you believe that? Okay, look. Put $295 down and $11.95 per week. Is that not crazy? The same. Then you get a half ton or 3/4 ton is $22.95, and then that big old farm truck. And back then, these trucks were very popular around here for farmers because they had all kind of. You had direction signal lights. They had guaranteed for 24 months, $395 down. All you got to do. Anyway, that was at a Chevrolet place. I just thought y'all would appreciate it. The prices have gone up a little bit significantly, but those trucks, they were heavy-duty trucks, and the metal on it, I always remember the metal, just really thick, heavy metal, unlike it has been in the last 20, 25, 30 years. And they did that because of the gas mileage and all, but the gas mileage wasn't a big deal back in those days because the gas was only 25 to 50 cents a gallon, wherever you were. Let's take our final break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a quick look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. How about one time, 11:31 to 1:31, and a dark night tonight. So a lot of cool things going on outdoors. Speaking of cool things going on outdoors, I scoured it all over. I look all over the internet for different interesting things. And easy to find. This is in Southwest Florida. Okay, they started making overpasses a little while back. To leave leave game trails underneath an overpass. And when I first saw them, I said, "Wow, what a unique idea!" This mainly in South Florida. We haven't done it much up here in North Florida because there's not really that many interstates, but we still need to do it on I-10. But anyway, they had these under the bridges sort of going underground, not underground, but the bridge goes over the natural habitat. Well, they started putting cameras in them. DOT is putting cameras in them. You can check them out. I didn't know that. Who knew that? This is Florida Department. Okay, this is Southwest Florida. Each Wednesday they check their camera, and so we're gonna run this. It's not very long, but this is under the highway, at one of the interstates. Is that not cool? Okay, listen, this is okay. How about nighttime? They're going back, and we got some food and going back to the house. Okay. Oh, this is a big one right here. A big bear. Now, I had a panther coming in here. Let me see if we get it. Look, check this bear out. He comes up to the camera. Okay, and then I said, "What's going on?" All right, Jeff, I'm gonna go back because there's a panther right there. See it? Look at there. Is that not cool? Okay, cool stuff. So anyway, that's a weekly occurrence going with them. So I just thought y'all would appreciate that. I know one thing. That's a good way to count what's coming in and out. Let me get back on these. Let me see. Coming up, I'm not going to be able to make it, but I mention this every year because they've been doing it so many years. The Mule Day, November 1st. We've been to it before a long time ago, but they still. Here it is right here, Mule Day Parade. It's just old farmers. It's really interesting. It's up in Calvary, Georgia, not too far from here. And they have a lot of old-fashioned things there, how things used to be done. Okay, this was interesting. This coming out of Apalachicola. Check this out. If anyone sees this boat floating in the Gulf offshore or inshore or near land, whatever, so it talks about the Coast Guard made us abandon our boat 16 miles off the coast of Cedar Key. It was slowly taking on water, and the towboat company can't find the boat where we anchored it. So we can't confirm if it's sunk or not. So if you're out there and see this boat floating, call those people back. I can't pronounce that word, but anyway, I'd hate to lose a boat like that. Okay. How about an albino bass? This is down in South Florida, and I haven't never seen one of those. Real quick, talking about the red tide. I showed you the picture the other day about the dead fish of one of the viewers sent in from Mexico Beach. So this was last week, and they do it each week. This week's hasn't come out yet, but anyway, it shows out of the whole state of Florida, the only one is right there in St. Joe Bay. So I blew it up, and those are different levels of red tide. And then I kept going, and that tells you what, low, medium, and high. And that's just a description. But check this out. That phone number there if you want to find out. But here's the interesting one right here. I blew it up, and then I went to this right here. This is what I wanted to show you. Okay, the yellow is the lightest one, and then red is the worst, and orange is in between. But you see the locations? That's sort of scary because That's over on the right. That's Wendy and Walter live over there. She said she smelled something the other day. I said, honey, it's dead fish. And right here, that's Eagle Harbor. In fact, that's right after our house, sort of, that yellow dot right there, and then up there in State Park. And right there in the middle, and back here close to Black's Island, that's where Red Tide is. But the interesting thing, it's only across that part of the only place in the state of Florida is that, okay? Cast netting, I just got to show this because you'll never go hungry if you catch some mullet. Don't that look good? Y'all need to run by Gene's Oyster Bar, get some of that this week. One poster, people posted about it. Okay, also coming up, I talked to, send this right here. They've done this before, right there, Highway 81 General Store. This is right there in Bruce. It's a tournament, it's an old school tournament. $120 tournament fee. You also get a free hot biscuit. And there you can go live right there at Black Creek. Launch any public ramp from Cedar Tree to Black Creek. That's the Chattahoochee River. Good job out there. The one I wanted to show you, okay, let me get back. I'm going to get through all my pictures. I got a bunch more to show you. We're talking about, so important about, spending time in outdoors and days longer and days shorter. Check out this right here, folks. Time change on November 2nd, the new sunset times, okay? Can y'all look at Panama City? The sun on November 2nd will be setting at 4:54 p.m. That's when the sun will be setting, when the time changes on November the 2nd. So that's right around the corner. And just be aware, I want to be sure to show that to you, be aware of what's going on as far as that. I also have some more pictures of the bass team, the Mosley bass team down there in Harris Chain Lakes. They did real well. But I've run out of time. Tomorrow we have some guests coming on, husband and wife fishing team, and they're going to be really interesting. You're going to enjoy them. So thank y'all for watching our show. We always appreciate the viewership. Do something good for someone else today. Enjoy the outdoors, and let's take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.